Hi, it's Heidi Sawyer. I had an amazing opportunity to spend some evening sessions with a group of extremely motivated, intuitive, sensitive people. These are people who are driven to understand the deeper meaning and purpose of their life. During these sessions, I took them along a 7-step proven path that I have walked myself and helped many others do the same. That I've done with incredible results. I'm sorry you couldn't be there, but I hope this is the next best thing. These are excerpts from the live events. Here they are, enjoy, and I hope more importantly that you do something with them for your life moving forward. Thank you for listening. What we're looking at today is carrier consciousness in terms of coping with others and their power struggles. Okay, so how we're looking at this is how you operate and how others operate, but looking at it through an energy standpoint rather than logic, okay? Because as an intuitive sensitive person, and because you are right brain focused, people who tend to be right brain focused or have a preference don't like to be told what to do, okay? If someone tells you what to do, you will, even if you really don't want to rebel against it, you will find yourself doing it because it feels like containment and it feels like you don't have any choice. As far as how the brain operates within that is concerned, and in terms of animals, if we were to look at how a bird operates, okay, so the right hemisphere is thought to take in the whole picture and the left hemisphere is thought to take in detail, okay? So you will find, as an intuitive sensitive, you're not hugely detail orientated. You are big picture first. If you can't see the big picture, you have no interest in the detail. Okay? Yes? So in terms of animals, so if we look at it as far as a bird is concerned, a bird will peck at the ground and somehow or another you think, well, it seems to know the difference between something to eat and a bit of gravel. How does it know that if it can't, and it seems to know when you're coming. So what it's doing is, and this is just a way of illustrating it, is that its left hemisphere gives its focus, its tight focus, to know which bits are food and which bits are not. And its right hemisphere, it gives it the feeling of when you're coming. Okay, when you're approaching. So for you, your whole system is very geared towards feeling when something's coming. Okay? And so for you, as far as other people are concerned and their power struggles, you will feel it coming like a huge thunderstorm. And they wouldn't have said a word, but it can send you into a very strong panic almost immediately. It can send your whole system into a strong panic almost immediately. Okay? So being in any environment where there is a feeling of some kind of power struggle makes you exceptionally uncomfortable. So knowing how to deal with it in how you figure things, it makes life a lot easier. So to give this a foundation of how we can look at it is, how I present things is not the view, it is a view. Okay, so you take what feels right to you and you put to one side the rest. Okay, which is an important thing for you to do, because as far as your intuitive sensitivity is concerned, one of the key aspects of it is that you must learn how to discern the energy that resonates with you and to put to one side what doesn't. And the importance of that the reason why it's very important is because you then learn to go with your own feel and your own instincts rather than what feels logical. Because for you as people, you will find that what feels logical also feels very painful. Okay, does that make sense? What feels logical as a process sometimes works fine in certain situations, but for you, you need to feel that you've got room to think, okay? If you're stressed about something, or you're thinking about something, or you've got something to work out, you'll find that you always need room to think. You may actually create space to think. This is how it's amazing when we're supposed to be doing something that we have an amazingly clean house. Yeah. We call it procrastination. I call it preparation. Okay. And 9 times out of 10 it is preparation, but we don't realise it's preparation, but we actually get then anxious about the fact that we're not doing something. Okay. So how we deal with things is, and what you have to realise within your own system and how this works is we carry not only our own fear, but that of previous generations. Okay? So you haven't only got your own fear to deal with, you have got the fear that has been inherited through your generations, okay? Which has either been shown to you as something through, well, you don't do this because of X, Y, Z, or it is something that's in there, it's instinctual as far as you're concerned. Okay? So that fear is present in your world in terms of the social imprinting. Okay? And I'm going to explain what these mean in a minute. So social imprinting and epigenetic inheritance. Okay, I'll explain what these mean in a second. So social imprinting is what you have learnt from your family or your social dynamics. Okay, so the environment that you were born into. So the social imprinting for some of you may have been you're less than. It may have been something like children should be seen and not heard. I mean, that's one that's passed through generations. It may well be that having a strong feeling that you've come from quite a dramatic background, and therefore the family or the parental drama was more important than your needs. Okay? Others of you, it may well be that your social imprinting was that you were absolutely loved. Okay? Does that make sense? Just give you as an example. Epigenetic inheritance, what that means is it's genetic memory storage. Okay? Now, the epigenetic, I'm talking about what's called behavioural epigenetics, which is it's kind of how behaviour has, so it's how behaviour has impacted nature. Okay? That may sound a bit peculiar the wrong way around. It's sort of the whole nature-nurture thing. So it's how previous behaviour through the generations has affected something physically. Okay, so to give you an example of that, this is a well-known example of how this has evolved or developed. So the Dutch hunger winter, which is hunger winter of 1944, which was in Holland, it was the post-war famine. Okay, there was a huge famine, of which a lot of people died. Okay. Now, there was some research done on the people who, the children who had survived that, and it's fairly recent. what they found, which you would think, okay, that it would be fairly obvious, which is those children who had survived the famine, as they grew older and as they grew into their adult years, they were a lot more susceptible to health problems, okay, as you would possibly expect. How the epigenetic inheritance impacted things is that the future generations were also impacted, okay, even though they were not present for the famine. Okay, so the example of this is that the people who obviously grew into adult years and had children who were survivors of that famine passed forward that memory in terms of a psychological memory that impacted the body. So what they were doing with the generations forward, so I think it's 2 generations forward, the people who who survived the famine, their offspring were giving birth to babies who were significantly underweight, okay, even though their mother had eaten normally during the pregnancy. So what this is about is I'm just giving you a basis of how you look at something, okay? How you look at something in terms of how something can pass through the generations that you're not even consciously aware of. That's not something that you know of, okay? So what the research concluded was that there was an emotional scarring in the DNA. Okay, so this is what epigenetic inheritance is. It's an emotional scarring in the DNA. Okay? Now, what you're doing as an intuitive sensitive person, okay, and that you're doing this without realizing this already, is your focus is healing emotional scarring. Okay? Does that make sense? And some of that emotional scarring you are aware of, and other parts it's coming up and you're thinking, where on earth did this come from? Okay? This is where it comes from. This is how it comes from. From a past world into your world now. So within, that's just one example, okay? So that indication within that particular set of research shows that how we respond to things in life isn't always our choice, okay? Even though, we're told that, oh, it's your choice, it isn't always your choice, okay? So we are born with some fear reactions which are not ours. They are that of our ancestors. Okay? So how do we move them? How do we cope with them? How do they show in our lives in terms of how something operates as far as a power struggle is concerned? Well, how do we cope with them? How do we shift them? It is about conscious awareness. Now, a lot of things that are wanting to solve, that are wanting to heal in your world, have already started to come or have been coming into your conscious awareness for years. Okay? Sometimes it's felt comfortable, sometimes it's felt overwhelming. But how it shows for you is that no matter what, you deal with things now a lot better than you did 5 years ago. Things impact you for a far shorter period of time now than they did 5 years ago. And 10 years ago, you don't even recognize yourself today as to how you were 10 years ago. Okay? And how you deal with things and how you solve things. And this is because, as an intuitive sensitive, you are bringing things more into your conscious awareness. What upsets you is how other people don't. Okay? Or how other people can't see what you see as obvious. So, for more great free content designed to support your purchase of my book, Highly Intuitive People, 7 Right Brain Traits to Change the Lives of Intuitive Sensitive People, please visit finallyfeelunderstood.com. There you can subscribe and download for free the meditation specific to today's episode. If you have already read the book, then it's time for you to receive exclusive access and support from me and your fellow intuitive sensitives as we go deeper together along this proven 7-step path by joining us in my monthly membership program called Heidi's Circle. There you can ask me anything in a safe and private environment, and I will answer you live. Join us today by visiting healmyinnerworld.com.